Let's get right into it. Number 10. The Finnish twin deaths. Two brothers, two motorcycles, one cursed road. In 2002, a Finnish man rode his motorcycle down a rural road and was struck and killed by a truck. Tragic, yes, but here's the creepy twist. Exactly 2 years earlier to the day, his brother had died in the same way, on the same road, less than a mile apart. Coincidence? Sure, you can say, well, small town, few roads, motorcycles are risky, but the math doesn't add up. What are the odds of not only dying in the same way but on the same date, just 2 years apart? That's not a coincidence. That's the universe copy-pasting death certificates. Psychologists will tell you our brains hate randomness. We want neat patterns. So when we see two eerie tragedies align this perfectly, we instantly jump to fate or curse. But whether you call it fate, bad luck, or cosmic déjà vu, one thing is certain. If you were a third brother in that family, you'd probably be selling your motorcycle real fast. Number 9. The Titanic was predicted. We all know the Titanic sank in 1912. But what most people don't know is that a book basically spoiled the tragedy, 14 years before it happened. In 1898, author Morgan Robertson published a novel called Futility, or The Wreck of the Titan. In it, a giant luxury ship named the Titan is declared unsinkable, carries far too few lifeboats, and, wait for it, hits an iceberg in the North Atlantic one cold April night. The ship sinks, and thousands die. Sound familiar? It should, because it's basically the Titanic story, down to the smallest details: the name, the size, the month, the cause. Skeptics argue Robertson wasn't psychic. He was just guessing based on trends of the time. Ships were getting bigger, safety was neglected. But seriously, Titan hitting an iceberg in April? That's either the world's greatest coincidence or some next-level spoiler from the universe. When asked about it later, Robertson denied having any supernatural powers, which honestly makes it creepier. Because at least if he said, yeah, I time traveled, we'd have an explanation. Instead, it's just coincidence. The kind that makes you look at your bookshelf and wonder what other disasters are hiding in old novels. Number 8. The Curse of King Tut. In 1922, Howard Carter opened the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun, and then the dying started. First was Lord Carnarvon, the expedition's backer, who died mysteriously from a mosquito bite infection just months later. Then came more. Members of the excavation team and visitors fell ill or died in strange ways. Newspapers screamed, "The curse of the pharaoh strikes!" Scientists tried to calm everyone. Relax, it's just mold spores from a sealed tomb, they said. But here's the problem. Not everyone exposed died. Carter himself lived another 16 years. Some people walked in and out just fine. Others? Dead within months. So was it mold, media hype, or something more sinister? The creepiness isn't just in the deaths, it's in how humans need the curse to exist. We love the idea that ancient kings could reach across thousands of years to strike down grave robbers. It makes history feel like a horror movie. Even today, if someone asked you to walk alone into Tut's tomb at midnight, no flashlight, would you do it? Probably not. Because whether science buys curses or not, your brain whispers the same thing people whispered in 1922. What if it's real? Number 7. The Strange Case of Edgar Allan Poe's time traveler novel. In 1838, Edgar Allan Poe published a novel called The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket. It's weird, dark, and honestly a little unhinged, so classic Poe. But here's the part that'll give you goosebumps. In one scene, shipwrecked sailors are starving, and they decide to draw straws to see who gets eaten. The unlucky loser? A cabin boy named Richard Parker. Now fast forward 46 years. In 1884, a real British ship called the Mignonette sank, and 4 men survived in a lifeboat. Guess what they did when the food ran out? Yup, drew straws, killed the loser, and ate him. And what was his name? Richard Parker. You can't make this up. A fictional character becomes reality, right down to the name, decades later. Skeptics argue, oh, Richard Parker was a common name. Fine, but not so common that your cannibalism fanfiction suddenly manifests in the real world with the same setup, the same horror, and the same name. That's not probability, that's nightmare fuel. To this day, historians scratch their heads. Was it a coincidence? A self-fulfilling prophecy? Or is Poe secretly sipping coffee in the 21st century, laughing at us all? Whatever the explanation, one thing's clear. If your name is Richard Parker, maybe avoid boats. Number 6. The Hoover Dam prophecy deaths. Big dams are already terrifying, huge walls of concrete holding back billions of gallons of water, but the Hoover Dam comes with an extra dose of creepy history. Construction began in 1931, and tragically, dozens of workers died building it. That part's expected. What's disturbing is how the timeline of the first and last deaths line up like some cosmic punchline. The very first worker to die was J.G. Tierney, who drowned in the Colorado River on December 20th, 1922, even before construction officially started. Now here's the kicker. Exactly 13 years later, to the day, December 20th, 1935, the last worker to die on the project was his own son, Patrick Tierney. Father and son, same project, same date, 13 years apart. Science shrugs and says, well, construction projects are dangerous, coincidences happen. But admit it, that's not just coincidence. That's the kind of thing that makes you believe dams aren't built by engineers. They're built by trickster gods demanding sacrifices. To this day, visitors at Hoover Dam whisper about the Tierney curse. Whether you call it fate, irony, or just horrific bad luck, one thing's for sure. You'll never look at that giant wall of concrete without thinking of a father and son locked into history's creepiest calendar reminder. Number 5. The Assassination, Coincidences of Lincoln and Kennedy. Okay, this one's legendary. So legendary it almost feels fake. But nope, it's real, and it's creepy as hell. President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated in 1865, President John F. Kennedy in 1963, nearly a century apart. But the coincidences between their lives and deaths are insane. Lincoln was elected in 1860, Kennedy in 1960. Both were succeeded by a vice president named Johnson. Andrew Johnson for Lincoln, Lyndon Johnson for Kennedy. Lincoln's assassin, John Wilkes Booth, was born in 1839. Kennedy's assassin, Lee Harvey Oswald, in 1939. Booth shot Lincoln in a theater and fled to a warehouse. Oswald shot Kennedy from a warehouse and fled to a theater. Both presidents were shot in the head on a Friday with their wives beside them. It gets weirder. Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy who supposedly warned him not to go to Ford's Theater. Kennedy had a secretary named Lincoln who supposedly warned him not to go to Dallas. Now skeptics argue some of these are stretched or cherry-picked. Maybe. But even if half are true, that's enough to make you wonder if history is less a straight line and more a glitchy loop. Were Lincoln and Kennedy trapped in some cosmic copy-paste cycle? Or is the universe just running out of material, recycling old scripts like a lazy Netflix reboot? Either way, the pattern is too spooky to ignore. Number 4. The Deadly Coincidence of World War I. Picture this. Sarajevo, June 28, 1914. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, is riding in an open car. Some assassins are lurking around, waiting for him. The first attempt? Total fail. The bomb misses, bounces off the car, and injures bystanders instead. The Archduke, rattled but alive, insists on visiting the hospital. Now here's where history gets so creepy it feels scripted by the world's worst screenwriter. His driver, confused about the route, makes a wrong turn and stops the car, right in front of one of the failed assassins, Gavrilo Princip. The guy just happens to be standing outside a cafe, depressed about failing his mission earlier. Suddenly, the Archduke pulls up 10 feet away like it's an Uber drop-off. Princip doesn't hesitate. 2 shots later, Ferdinand and his wife are dead, and the domino effect triggers World War I, leading to millions of deaths worldwide. What are the odds? A bungled assassination turns into one of the deadliest wars in history, all because of a wrong turn and a very unlucky coffee break. Science can't explain that level of coincidence. It's chaos theory with a body count, and it makes you wonder, how many massive world events started not with a grand plan, but with someone missing a left turn? Number 3. The Doppelgänger Presidents. In 1871, a French artist drew a cartoon of Napoleon Bonaparte. The subject? His defeat at the Battle of Waterloo. He used shading tricks, hidden faces, and eerie imagery to show Napoleon's downfall. Years later, people looking at the illustration realized something uncanny. Napoleon's face resembled Adolf Hitler's. But here's the kicker. Hitler wasn't even born until 1889. Yet in this drawing, you can see the hairline, the mustache shadow, the piercing stare. It looks like a portrait of Hitler hiding inside Napoleon's downfall. Coincidence? Maybe. But when you line up their lives, things get creepier. Both men rose to power during times of chaos. Both invaded Russia and failed miserably. Both plunged Europe into war, leaving millions dead. Both believed they were chosen by destiny, only to end up defeated and despised. It's like history recycled the same villain, just gave him a new mustache style. Scientists wave it off as pattern recognition. Our brains love finding familiar faces. But come on, a hidden Hitler in Napoleon's caricature years before his birth? That's less pattern recognition and more like history foreshadowing itself. It makes you wonder, is the future already sketched out waiting for us to notice? Or are we just characters in a badly written sequel where the same villain keeps coming back? Number 2. Mark Twain and Halley's Comet. Mark Twain, the guy behind Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, wasn't just a literary genius. He was also the star of one of history's creepiest coincidences. He was born in 1835, the same year what Halley's Comet made its closest pass by Earth, and Twain, being the sarcastic prophet he was, once joked, "I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835. It is coming again next year, and I expect to go out with it." Guess what? In 1910, Halley's Comet returned, and the very next day after its closest approach, Mark Twain died. The odds of this happening are astronomically low. Literally, Halley's Comet only swings by once every 76 years. Twain lived exactly within one cycle of it. It's like he had a cosmic appointment card. Check in with the comet, check out with the comet. Psychologists might call it self-fulfilling prophecy, but Twain didn't take poison or stage his death. He just expired on cue, which makes it feel less like coincidence and more like the universe looked at him and said, "All right, buddy, your comet's here. Time to clock out. So next time you wish upon a comet, be careful. The universe might be listening." Number 1. The strange coincidence of the first and last soldiers of World War I. World War I killed millions, but 2 soldiers in particular are forever linked by one of history's eeriest coincidences. The very first British soldier killed in World War I was a man named John Parr. The very last British soldier killed in World War I was George Edwin Ellison. Now here's the spine-chilling part. They're buried in the same cemetery in Belgium. Their graves face each other, just a few feet apart. Think about that. Out of all the fields, cemeteries, and graves across Europe, the first and last casualties of the war ended up side by side, as if history was staging a perfectly ironic photo op. The war stretched 4 brutal years, across multiple continents, but the beginning and the end of British sacrifice are literally staring at each other in silence. It's like history wanted to put parentheses around the whole tragedy. And it's not just eerie placement, it's symbolic. One young soldier falls, the first domino. Years later, the final soldier collapses, closing the loop. Both rest eternally, just yards apart, as if fate decided, you two started this story, you two will end it, and you'll share the same page. Science can't explain that kind of poetic symmetry. Probability doesn't make graves line up like a punchline. That's the kind of thing that makes you wonder if wars, disasters, maybe even our whole lives, aren't as random as we pretend. And there you have it. 10 creepy historical coincidences science still can't explain. From cursed roads and doomed ships to comets and cosmic punchlines, history might not just repeat itself, it might be laughing at us while it does. That's all for today. I'll be making more videos like this, so subscribe if you don't want to miss them.